Hey everyone, welcome to today's live. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about why there's a problem with easy solutions for anxiety. And I'm going to be talking about what that problem is. And we're also just going to be talking about anxiety in general. And I have a bit of a plan for today. So let me share that with you. And before I do, let me tell you about who I am. All right, so my name is Andrea, and I have been working with adults and children for about 25 years using specific movements that really help to create mind-body coherence, and that results when I work with students, with kids, and ease in learning, and I work with adults for greater productivity and focus and just a deep connection to what really matters. So I came by all of this because I desperately needed it in my own life, and then I started to share it. So welcome. Again, my name is Andrea, and the plan for today is we are talking about anxiety. So first, let me ask you, if you are live with me now, whether or not this is the replay, whether or not you're watching this on YouTube, can you just type in the comments watching, and that lets me know who's here and gives me a little bit of feedback for moving forward. That would be great. Before Christmas, my last live video, I taught a really simple and effective movement for physiologically supporting your body to reduce anxiety and become more coherent. So what we know from research now is that when our heart and brain are coherent, our whole body functions better. So there's this huge component in the heart, and I taught a movement that really helps to just ground us, get us focused, get you ready for what comes in, new learning, new situations, what have you. And I'm going to teach it again today, but thank you to the people who sent me private messages telling me how much that movement has helped them. I really appreciate it. I'm going to share one of those stories with you today because I feel like if you relate to any of the stories, then you will be able to use this or try it out, have some curiosity with this, try it out with someone you might know or yourself to see what kind of physiological effect it has on you and if it helps to reduce the anxiety and just get done what you need to get done. All right, so I'm a teacher. I like to line things up. So I've got a sequence here. We're going to share stories. We're going to teach the movement. I want to show you this, but I have a feeling it's going to be backwards. I'm going to share some neuroscience from a neurophysiologist on this. I'm actually going to show you a part of a conversation I had with a neurophysiologist. So we're going to see how that turns out with you watching part of tape or videotape of this conversation I had. But in the meantime, let me tell you the success story of using this movement. So essentially, one of my clients who I've taught this movement was at home over the Christmas holidays, and her family had come home, and one of her children is a student at college, and he has a lot of anxiety issues. And she shared this story with me actually yesterday, so I'm excited to share with you today. So over the Christmas holidays, he had to make an appointment, and it was a simple doctor's appointment, and he was anxious and did not want to do it. And she said, look, you're an adult. I'm not making the appointment for you. You need to do it. But it was at this standstill because his anxiety was getting higher. Her anxiety was getting higher. Let's think about what anxiety is. You know, it's this response to stress. So the stress was the phone call. Her stress is, oh my God, are the life skills ever going to get in here and work? And so this snowball thing started to happen. So she had a light bulb moment and thought, stop. We're just going to do some simple movement and that's what we're going to do. Now, there was some resistance to the idea, but they went ahead, they got into a position, they stayed there for a few minutes, and then they went back to the task. And she said it was a completely different thing. He wrote out what he wanted to say, phoned, made the call, life went on. It could have been 30 minutes had already happened. They took 3 minutes to change the trajectory with simple movement, and then life went on. So I have a similar story today. I was working with a student, and as a teacher, sometimes you have to give these ridiculous assessments where you know the student is going to fail, because this particular assessment I was required to give this student, progressively the questions got harder. So I know at some point he's not going to get the right answers. And he knows that too. So you try to prepare them, like, do your best. This isn't a grade. This is just to see how you're going to do. But clearly, as he's doing it and the questions are getting harder and he knows he's not doing it correctly, his anxiety level and stress level is increasing. And I said to him, there was one question and he kept erasing and trying again and erasing and trying again. And every erase was a physically harder attempt at the erase. And my heart was breaking for him. And I said, we can skip this. We can go on. We can come back to it. And he would not. And I had the light bulb moment. I just said, look, stop. Let's get into hookups. And I'm going to teach you that again today, as I said. Let's get into hookups and let's just wait. So he gets into hookups. We waited. I gave him about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. Totally different response. He didn't have the right answer at that point, but he could move on. And that's the exciting thing, right? With simple movement, we can impact the anxiety we have and move on. And today I will get to the biggest problem with the simple solutions, but I wanted to share those stories first. They're just really powerful. They're real life. I can't make these things up. It's so phenomenal. I'm going to just quickly teach you this movement that really does help anxiety. So I want you to think of something that might be stressful right now in your life and causing some anxiety, because it's almost impossible in this life not to have some sort of stress, whether it be a relationship, a task at work, a worry, there's issue with the kids that you teach or your own children, something like that. Just think about it and then give it a number, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is this, right? And once you have that number, I'm going to teach you the position, you're going to get into it, and I'm going to tell you why this movement is so great. And I'm going to give you the words of Dr. Carla Hannaford when the video that I have of her explaining why this is such a powerful movement. I can paraphrase, but honestly, hearing it from her is just gold, really gold. All right, so you're going to cross your ankles. All right, this is how I teach this movement. You're going to take your hands out, thumbs up, thumbs down. You take one hand over the other and hold on. And then we're just going to bring our hand like this, okay? And then relax your shoulders. Just relax into this. It's totally easy. The tongue goes on the roof of your mouth and you just relax. So just, think about space between your shoulder and your ear and hang out. All right, and please stay in that position now while I talk about the position and why it works so well. And I'm just going to pull up the interview that I did with Carla Hannaford, and I'm going to show it to you. And I want you to listen to the neuroscience behind it, but she's so down to earth. It's really, really accessible. And here we go.
But we can do this. And what we're doing is coming back to alignment. When we're under stress, the non-dominant side of the brain shuts down by 75 to 85%. So that what we do is we react. We can't think, we can't be creative. It's also difficult to go to those deep emotions like altruism, compassion, empathy, love, because the frontal lobes shut way down. And what we're doing is by doing this action, there are so many nerve endings here in the motor and sensory cortex that we're forcing to come back into action. So we're forcing the brain into an integrated state within our bodies. Simple movements. It's that simple. And once we do that, we stop that adrenaline cortisol rush that comes with stress or survival. And now we can see the big picture and the details and put them together and think, remember, create. It's magic. And we do it all in our body. We don't have to have machinery or pills or a lot of psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing.
So that was Dr. Carla Hannaford talking about the movement that I hope that you're still in. All right. So she's written a number of books. This is one of them, Smart Moves, Why Learning is Not All in Your Head. I highly recommend that book for any parent, teacher, person. It's wonderful. All right, so here we go. Here's the big thing that I wanted to share today about what the problem is with these simple solutions. And Carla talks about this in her books. I hope you're still in here. Breathe, tongue up. We don't turn to these very simple solutions because in our mind, we're telling ourselves simple is too easy. How could I possibly do this and expect big results if it's that simple? What else do we tell yourself? Unless it's a lot of work, it's not going to work, that kind of thing. And where I would agree that in some cases, yes, things take a lot of work. This is not one of them. This is where you're in an anxious state. You can have an impact by forcing your brain into coherence, like what Dr. Carla Hannaford talks about. So the other thing is, this movement, you have it, right? You have this, it's a gift. I have it, it's a gift. I know it works, right? As a matter of fact, let's just check on how it's working for you. So take a deep breath. Uncross, unwind, and bring your fingertips together and go back to the stressful situation. And just notice if it's still a higher number or as high as it was. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I'm just always amazed at how the number will come down because we are supporting our physical system, right? We have this gift of simple movement. And the biggest barrier, the biggest problem with this simple movement is we don't do it. I was watching a YouTube video of Gary Vee, and he is this very successful entrepreneur, and he teaches other entrepreneurs what to do to become successful. And he's on this big stage, and he's got thousands of people watching, and he says to them, the interesting thing is I'm telling you, I'm giving you the tools of what you need to be successful. And I guarantee you 90% of you are going to walk out and you're not going to do them. And I'm not talking to thousands of people right now, but the premise is the same. He's giving easy tools, and maybe people are thinking it's too easy. Not sure. But when you have the information, use it. Use it to your advantage for sure. All right? And we all get in our own way. I know that completely for sure. I need to practice what I preach, or else I'm not okay. So I know that when I do these kinds of movements, that I help myself be more coherent, and then I'm better for everybody, including myself. So I'm really hoping that by learning and practicing this position, you'll feel better, you'll use it. You can get a free PDF of this position at my website, andreafry.us. And the PDF is awesome, actually, because what I've done is I've done the research for you. I'm just looking it up right now. I've done the research for you. I found it's pictures of how to, all right? I've given you the how you do it, why you do it physiologically, what's going on, when to do it, I tell you. And then I give you some variations, including putting your feet up while you do it, because we know that elevated feet help calm the nervous system. So if any of this, even if you just put your feet higher than your heart for a few minutes a day, if any of this helps, please comment and let me know and use it. Use it for yourself. My goal is really to support and help. So that's it. Don't get in your own way. Use the tools you have. Use the tools that I've been fortunate enough to learn and share, please. And please comment below, that you're watching, you're trying. Let me know if the number went down. Private message me if you have questions that you don't want to publicly comment. And I'm going to see you next week. All right, take care.